Welcome to Range World, the podcast where life, development, leadership, growth, intentionality, and experience come into balance right before your very ears. And now, here's your tour guide into Range World, the president of Get Life in Balance, Rain Kansman.
All right, welcome back to Rain's World, and today I'm excited to let you know that I have Mr. Michael Pantaleo, or affectionately to his friends, Pinto, joining me today. And he wants to talk a little bit about consistency as his leadership topic. Let me introduce him. Michael's been food service distribution for over 30 years, and prior to that, he was a restaurant veteran for the Cisco Corporation, Performance Food Service, starting his sales department and moving into management after a few years. Effective in both areas. In addition to Michael, he worked in training and in marketing, and he and I met, 1990, April of 1990, if I remember right, in a training program that we were working together on. Michael's phenomenal in all of those fields. His hobbies and interests include fishing and all kinds of areas of fitness, which he's underselling because this guy is a beast. Triathlete, Ironman, he's been there. Mike is a certified professional trainer, as well as a performance and a football coach. This is Mr. Michael Pantaleo. Welcome, Mike.
Hello, Mr. Rain. How are you?
Good, Pinto. Again, from the lovely state of Minnesota, right?
That's right.
All right. So you wanted to talk about consistency. Let me ask you the first question. Why did you choose consistency as an important quality for a leader?
I'm glad you asked that, Rain. When you approached me about doing this webinar, I didn't have to think long about that. And there's been two conversations in my professional career. One was a long time ago, and one was very recently, which triggered this thought process. And they both came from leaders who were really effective. And let me quickly share those with you, and I'll talk about really why consistency.
Okay.
Many, many years ago, I had a leader, my boss, you actually know him, say to me at one time, we were doing a kind of an unannounced or an unscheduled performance review. And he said, man, Pinto, he goes, when you're on, you're on. He said, you're just a great employee. You work hard, you're effective, you get good results. He said, but I need to tell you, he said, giving you sincere feedback, when you're off, you're off. He said, you lack consistency.
Wow.
And initially, my response was anger.
Oh, sure.
I didn't share that with him, but I, to this day, think about that all the time, especially when I'm giving reviews or kind of giving self-feedback. So fast forward it wasn't long ago, a couple weeks ago, I'm talking to an existing leader that I now work with. Mm-hmm. And he made the comment, I manage everybody differently. And man, as soon as he said it, my hamsters started turning. Mm-hmm. They started turning, and I went, is that good management? And then I made him qualify it a little bit.
Okay.
And I said, what do you mean? And he actually didn't mean it to say like he lacked consistency. What he said was he manages to everybody's style. Okay. Some people you have to, as you know better than anybody. Mm-hmm. And we went down that road together, and we started talking about consistency and how the message needs to be level. The delivery might vary, but the message needs to be the same. So that's how I came up with that today, Rain.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So what do you see as some of the benefits of being consistent?
Well, more than anything, it's fair.
Okay.
It's fair. It's the way you have to be. Unfortunately, we've both seen it being around all the years we've have been a lack of consistency or uneven management. That's just production killing stuff. So it's fair. I think it can achieve results. It's expected. Um, if you have a bunch of people at the water cooler saying that a manager is doing this for, subordinate A and doing this for subordinate B, you got a problem.
Right.
You got a problem. And I also wrote down on my notes, this is a skill. At least I think so. And if you want to talk to this too, I think this is an enhanceable behavior, given that you understand it, that you're lacking consistency. That's some of the things too. It's good for your reputation, which ultimately will make you a good leader. It's good for creating and delivering and executing the vision. Whatever that company or departmental vision is, if you're consistent in how you deliver it, I mean, might have to modify it if you're talking to one group as opposed to another, but it's still the same message. The vision is accurate. That's really what I thought. I actually was playing around on the internet looking at consistency. It's easier to measure. You don't have multiple metrics out there that you have to measure. That makes total sense to me. And I think it also creates accountability, Rain. Once again, you've shared a consistent message with everybody on your team. And all of a sudden, you have an expectation. It creates accountability, which ultimately could dictate performance. That's my take on it.
Wow. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, a couple things I want to pull out of that. Okay, now you got me me on the same page. I remember we had a tale of two different leaders. We had one that I mean, this is old school. We wanted to put a mood ring on him because we wanted to figure out what he was going to be that day. Was it Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde versus another person who was consistent. And so we knew what to expect. If we wanted to approach that individual, we knew how he was going to react, right? We knew how he was going to work through a situation, and you could count on that. Even though you might not agree with it, but you knew what to count on. Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Well put. Cynically, which I am kind of, especially as I've aged, it's normal behavior if you're consistent as well too, whether it's in your relationships or in your professional endeavors. It's just acting normal. Yeah. And you just spoke volumes when you said that. I mean, you watch how a corporation or how a business changes daily based on the mood of a leader. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. And we know that impacts it very well. Yeah. The other thing you said there was your messaging, consistent messaging. And that is so important, because I think people want to know, once we've set our goals and our strategies in place, that they're going to stay there. And I mean, it might be a goal and strategy even for a change we're doing. But if that's something they can grab onto that's consistent, it helps them get that. And the more often we speak that consistent message, the more often that everybody's in line, right?
It's somewhat, it kind of leads into the word predictable too.
Okay.
If once again, you said, if the expectation, it's consistent expectation, the performance is going to be more consistent or level probably as well too.
Right.
So.
Cool.
Excellent.
I like that. So one more question for you.
Yeah.
At least we'll see. Where does a new leader start when it comes to consistency? As a new leader, what can I start doing to build that skill or competency?
I thought about that when you sent me the list of potential topics we're going to talk about a lot. And, if I don't know what you would say if you could go back to 1990 when we were starting or something and be a leader, what mistakes did you make? You can learn. But I just think very, very strong communication. You're telling your team members, this is what I expect out of you, and this is what I want you to expect out of me. So there's an accountability factor here, but I have lived through this so long, and all of a sudden you have to become a mind reader to navigate corporations.
Right.
That's bizarre.
Mhm.
That's bizarre. Tell me what you need. I'm going to tell you what I need. I'm going to tell you it with this frequency. We're going to measure it periodically. We're going to provide each other feedback consistently. And I want to get off to a good start. And I sure like you would to support my efforts as the captain of this team. I just think it really comes down. I'm talking to the king of clear communication. I ultimately, I think that's the message we want to portray here.
Okay. Okay. No, that's great. That's great. And as we go through that, you did bring me back, and I know there were times. Again, I wish I understood it as a skill. I like the way you've put this, because I can sit back now, and hindsight's 2020, right? And remember, wait, how come I did it this way, and then I turned and did it this way without even communicating that change before I made it, right? I'm sure I lost some people. It's like you're towing somebody on skis on a speedboat, and all of a sudden you don't let them know, but you make a big cut right away, right?
Bingo.
Yeah.
Good
Wow.
analogy.
So I can tell you this: whenever I dialed up Pinto's name for training, I could just dial it in, because he was consistently delivered high performance. So I can tell you that I think you were a very consistent performer, at least when we worked together on projects.
I appreciate that, Rain, a lot. Once again, I something I work on daily, try to develop. You and I are both lifelong learners. We know that our quest for betterment has never stopped since I've known you, and I hope it doesn't stop for either of us as we move forward. You know, I was laying in bed today at 4 a.m. The alarm went off as usual. Time to go to the gym, and I didn't want to get out of bed.
Really?
But it's what we do. It's what we do, and we're going to get better. So I got out of bed, and after a cup of coffee, it was all good.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to say, I remember you rattling me at 4:15. Let's go, Rain. We're gone. I love it.
This whole mountain time thing's screwing me up.
I love it. Well, very cool. Hey, Michael, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate your contributions, my friend.
No problem, sir. Good luck to you, Rain.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This has been another leadership lesson from Rain's World. If this kind of learning whets your appetite, leaving you wanting for another helping of this kind of content, visit me at getlifeinbalance.com.